every week, every show, every few days, there's just something juicy and to sink our teeth into. And it usually revolves around AEW in some form or fashion. Typically what you'll notice, and we're going to talk about later in the show, is what the dirt sheets do and what the IWC does is they run with the fake stuff about WWE. You guys notice all this bad, real stuff about AEW. Like none of the dirt sheets are talking about Thunder Rosa ad nauseum. They all don't have the same exact same hive mind style news story that they put out all at the same time as like a wave of negativity about, well, a bunch of unnamed staff are being mistreated in WWE and a bunch of unnamed women in WWE are unhappy. It's fake, man. It's manufactured. I threw up that tweet. Wrestlers like that tweet and shit. All of a sudden fake stories start coming out. And then when really the AEW's women's roster are the ones who are really having these awkward shoot instances in the ring between Megan Bayne and Thunder Rosa, and there's always heat between people there. And then notice this really negative push of like fake BS stories, whereas the real stories and the real drama where we're like, oh, this is really happening, they're not trying to work us, it's just that ridiculous. We get that from AEW because these lawsuits, some people who are on NDAs, some people aren't. The same stories. So someone says a story, then someone says a similar story, and they put their names to it. Like Chavo says Tony Ghost People, and Punk says Tony Ghost People, and Big Swole says Tony Ghost People, and everybody says Tony Ghost People. So you're like, oh, Tony Khan Ghost People. Whereas it's always like unnamed people that came to us for advice exclusively at Fightful Gossip, is, you know, said that they're unhappy. There's no faces to names. There's not even smoke to the fire. It's just people making up for the most part, I feel like, right? So there's going to be a theme throughout this, and we're going to, throughout this AEW news segment, we're going to get into the Ryan Nemeth stuff. That'll be sprinkled throughout. We have Tony Khan awkwardness. We have someone asked me a great question, a great record. Tony Khan, the reason when corners get cut in AEW, it's because the lack of leadership. It's not because of money. There's no expense they won't go to, but it's because like being unaware, not even knowing what to do, being in a position you shouldn't be in. You know what I mean? Just incompetence and lack of leadership. That's where you see corners get cut with the shoddy ring. It's because Tony Khan's running this Fed. He's not smart enough to go, maybe we should just build a ring there if we're coming back next year. Type, you should just know to do that, right? I thought of it in 2 seconds, and I don't have close to $1 billion, right? So it's not even like they are cheaping out on this for wrestler safety. You know, you see that narrative out there. It's just largely awkward. We're going to see awkward Tony Khan. Here, let's do a couple throwbacks just to set the tone. PWT Universe, like some throwbacks here. The Greek Freak! Oh, he doesn't even say his name right. Right? Let's scroll along here. Look at every face made.
A chatter online.
The infamous, the great faces of Tony Khan, right? Look at this. It's this stuff. Like the dude's not aware. He's not aware of how he comes across. He's not aware of how people perceive him. He's not aware of how people perceive like AEW. And yes, the Ryan Nemeth stuff is juicy, and this all lends into itself. It all lends into it all. No. But as we look at Tony Khan's silly faces, the many faces of Mr. McCon here, it's like, this is why Nemeth and Punk are, like, Punk's getting sued again. This guy can't stay out of lawsuits, right? Everyone's just suckling off the tit there, off the teat. Punk feeding everybody. So he's still feeding families. You know, people, all these dudes left AEW, and he's still putting food on these plates, right? So it's a joke over there. I'll have you know, Cage Match ratings thought otherwise. Awful. This is good stuff, man. Yeah, go and follow your boy Awful Wrestling. Amazing work that popped me. Okay. So here's Tony just at Sammy Gurr 435952219 tweets out same old act, jumping around and yelling like a clown. So here's just more Tony Khan being Tony Khan. Double or nothing. Now he's trying to say double or nothing. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's great. Double or nothing. He's so Phoenix, Arizona, right, guys? Right? Like saying the hometown in a hometown in the town, you get a pop, right? That's an easy cop out, whatever. But it's the look on his face and all of the way he's like, right, Phoenix, Arizona, right? And they're all just kind of like, bro, get the out of here. You're not even pandering correctly. Here, let's back this up a bit.
Right here from Phoenix, Arizona.
See, oh my God, did you? I didn't hear that. I swear I'm deaf too. Ask my wife, okay? I'm deaf as that girl in the audience goes, I just heard that too. She goes, the look on his face or whatever. Boom. See, that's what I mean. I'm not making this up. I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm telling you, this is how people feel. Listen very carefully. I think it's the woman filming it. She says that. Look at the look on his face.
Right here from Phoenix, Arizona.
See the facial expression he's making. Boom. Anyway, sorry, I'll continue.
Collision tonight. I gotta be honest, Phoenix. Collision is on an incredible roll. In my personal opinion,
Collision's on an incredible roll. Man, like 3 good shows in a row. Dude, last Collision, though, this last weekend, pretty good wrestling show. Gotta be honest, man. Yes, is like, can we remove Garcia and the goofballs? Yes, for sure. But like, man, they're turning it around somehow. Now, I think things are more compartmentalized, as in you have like RJ City and Tony Storm really working on their, but for some reason, it all doesn't feel like there's just a little more cohesion. Do you know what I mean? They don't do now. Yes, there's always a run out after every match, man. Collision, not so much though, but as much as Dynamite just feels like Dynamite feels like Rampage, There's just more Mariah May pile drives Tony Storm at the top of the show on the stage. They don't do more like that later in the show. Do you know? Everyone's kind of doing their own thing, but not in like everyone's doing their own thing and there's no identity here. Like it feels like they're starting to really focus on core set of guys too, which is like, okay, here we go. Hey, I don't hate Top Flight. You just book them or whatever. So it's starting to come together a little bit. Now, does it matter in the long run? No, because when TNA came together a little bit too, it didn't really matter. And that's why we bitched so hard. Okay. And now it's just a lol cow meme. And that's what it's going to be. But if I start blowing AEW stuff, I mean, you guys know I always do. And then they make me regret it after, like that Megan Bain Statlander debacle. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again in case you didn't hear it. To me, that was the best television women's match because the way it went through the break too, came back into action and then went to the finish, like not 30 minutes later, relatively quick. That to me that's like a good TV match. I felt like that was the best women's TV match probably in the history of AEW. One of them for sure, if not the. And then after that, Thunder Rosa bullshit happened. So trust me, I'm the first to admit, hey, be careful when you start putting AEW over because they make you regret it. However, that last Collision show was like, it like flew by. It was a good show. It was actually decent. So hopefully Dynamite can get they got to start doing some of that Collision on Dynamite though, and maybe they'll start getting ratings. But they do feel kind of like different shows again, with some of the same people bleeding across both, which is good. But at the same, because that's sort of how WWE does it. And that's not being WWE light, folks. It's just adopting things they do properly. However, like a lot of this Mariah May, Tony Storm stuff, I think you should hedge your bets on not trying to get people to watch Collision with it. You should try and boost the ratings of Dynamite with it, because there's a lot of people who fell off AEW almost entirely, but they'll throw Dynamite on. Even Awful comes on this show, and I go, I'm watching Dynamite. And he goes, I'll throw it on, Phil. And then he throws it on. Even that, and he's the Grinch dude. He's the AEW Grinch. So but instead you have this awkward yelling and like Tony still trying to force what he thinks is going to work, Tony McCon style. Anyways, let's get through this minute-long video I've rambled over for 15 minutes.
I gotta be honest, Phoenix. Collision is on an incredible roll. In my personal opinion, the last 4 episodes, from Jacksonville to Huntsville to Houston to Brisbane.
The last 4 episodes. Exactly. Stop sucking your own dick after 4 good episodes. WWE had 4 good episodes. And okay, the challenger brand. Okay, let's say you're challenging them. WWE have 4 good shows a week. Easy. Especially if you count like LFG and that other tremendous content they're putting out there on A&E. Don't stop to blow yourself and pat yourself on the back now. Stay locked in, man. Don't worry about we had 4 great collisions. Calm down. All these AEW sickos too, they're all just freaking out. It's back. No, man. No. Put together 4 good months of shows where like 4 of them get on. Have it where 4 shows get on over the next 4 months, let's say. And then we can talk. But I suggest everybody check out Collision again. There you go. I was watching the UFC last Saturday. Don't regret it. I had to watch the Collision after. Great show, though. The UFC way better, though. One of the best free fight night UFCs of all time. At least the prelims and the main and the leading up to the to the main event. And
anyways. They were all awesome shows, and I think we have a great show for you right now tonight. You were absolutely fantastic fans tonight for Dynamite. Double or nothing.
Yeah, very awkward, Tony McCon. So we move along. Okay. So Speedball Mike Bailey is all elite. Happy for the guy. I told you guys that's where he's 100% going to go before any of the sheets. Just if you follow him, he's flat out been like, I don't give a shit about WrestleMania. Not hating on it at all. He's never a bitter guy. So I don't want anyone thinking like, oh, he's not good enough to make it. He just doesn't give up. He just wants to work his own schedule, make the most money he can to travel the world with his wife, Veda Scott, I believe is her name, and wrestle and just have crazy ass matches with his friends. He used those exact words I just said over a handful of different tweets and interviews, I believe, and things like that. So here's why I like Mike Bailey. He just admits that. He doesn't do all this cope. Well, it doesn't matter over that other place where, like, the guy who used to run it really sucked, even though I never even got a tryout there. So them, right? That's what everyone else is doing. Or everyone just wants to talk. He's never done that. Bailey's just like, I don't care about that. I just want to do my thing. Boom. That's all anybody wants people to do. Just don't become a cringe lord and cope. No edge, by the way. So updates regarding Sky Blue and Killswitch, formerly known as Luchasaurus, have been released following rumors of in-ring returns. So basically, guys, Sky Blue had her ankle destroyed. She's going to come back soon. I believe she's like training to come back because I read this article here, and I'll just summate it for you. Sky Blue, though, here's my worry. Great look. She's killing it in like the real fashion industry. I believe she could just have an IG and she'll be fine the rest of her life. I guarantee it. But obviously she loves wrestling and she's good at it, But Tony, like, if she comes back and he puts her in a no DQ match on Collision or something, I'm going to freak out because she was gone for a while, comes back. Not for a while, but she was gone for a little bit, came back, got hurt, got her ankle crushed. And she's being slammed through barbed wire. Oh, no. What had happened was she got slammed through barbed wire. She was like trapped in it, right? And then a little bit later, she's in another hardcore match, like 4 weeks later, and then she crushes her ankle. And it's like, man, you have a girl here who doesn't even need to be doing dives to the outside and going through barbed wire. She doesn't even need to be doing that, let alone breaking her ankle. Like, what are you guys doing? So, and then Luchasaurus, unfortunately, and best wishes and prayers and energies to Luchasaurus. That dude might not wrestle again, man. He had some pneumonia thing, and there was complications, and even now, his health Killswitch, I guess, Luchasaurus Killswitch. So he's feeling like effects of that. So I don't know. Prayers up for Luchasaurus. Great look, great size. I put him over so much. If you go way back on PWT when he got away from Jack Perry and Christian had him more just being kind of like his Kane. I don't know. I am a fan of the guy. I'm not sitting here like he's the next big thing or anything like that. It's unfortunate, and hopefully he can wrestle again. Hopefully that lung clears up, and that's no joke. That's where Keith Lee's been at. He really got sick, like really, really got sick there. So, I just hope Luchasaurus is all good, you know. Moving along here. So Mike Bailey comments on joining AEW. Says, I've been blessed for my whole career with unlimited support from all over the world. I can't thank you all enough. My biggest accomplishment in life has been making every year my best year yet, and I am extremely excited to keep that going in AEW. Yeah, man, good for him. Exactly. He's just doing his thing. I ain't mad at it. So before we showed Tony Khan awkwardness. It's really upset a lot of people. Punk, Nemeth, people are upset about Tony Khan seemingly gutting New Japan Pro Wrestling, as I tweeted out here. Clark Connor's headed to AEW. Now, a bunch of people got mad at me, and they were like, oh, he's there as an AEW talent, and it's not New Japan, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, dude, this is how it starts. Like, Gabe Kidd. So Okada would just go there. Here, I'm just going to tweet the link to the live show here. Okada was in AEW a little bit. What happened? He got poached. All of these guys, man. Gabe Kidd, Shibata, Clark Connors. I know a lot of people are like, who? I'm pretty sure he's in WWE for a bit, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's in NXT, but it's besides the point. Like, if you don't know Clark Connors, okay, cool. I'm a huge sicko. I'm a wacko, guys, okay? So I know who he is. I think he was in NXT, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe NXT UK for a little bit. Sorry if you guys don't know him. He's a name. He's like a good hand on the indie. I don't know. If you watch Gabe Kidd, he's part of Gabe Kidd's crew, and they're like the Bullet Club War Dog guys or whatever. And they're coming into, like, Gabe Kidd just had a match on Collision, and now Clark Connors is there. And so what? Even if I go, of course he is. TK continues to gut and JPW. I'm still right about that. So on top of that, that's irking New Japan fans. Right? Matt Hardy gets irked. And it's not just from working with Jon Alba, which it's not a coincidence that everyone who works with Jon Alba gets pissed off at some point. Eric Bischoff, Matt Hardy. People just get me. My small I just unfollowed him. He's such a schmarmy prick. Sorry to go that hard on him, but Matt Hardy just snaps on him too, right? Because he just peddles this. I don't know what it is. There's this bubble of the IWC that a lot of the IWC don't realize. Like, no, you're in this weird bubble, dude, where you guys like say this that doesn't apply. Like, if you talk to wrestlers and if you talk to people in the entertainment industry, like in television, what you're saying does not apply. And we're talking about a pro wrestling TV show. You know what I mean? So Alba's one of these dudes. It's just, of course, he flexed his 42 jobs on me. Yes, I in a bubble, sir. Like, being a pompous, schmarmy prick. But either way, I'm just burying Alba. Matt Hardy, and just look at the look on his face already while Alba's saying what he's saying, dude. Look at the look on Matt Hardy's face. And he snaps, and he actually goes, this is what drives me nuts about AEW and Tony Khan. Okay? Again, everything we talk about has to do with Tony Khan a little bit here and how he's irking people and just he's unaware. And here's Alba sitting here with what? Is this a real? What is this? Is this real? Right? And then he's going to say this thing. There's a Hollywood bubble, bud, right? Like, you're in this bubble where you don't actually get wrestling, but somehow you got a job hosting all the wrestler podcasts with them. Producing all the wrestler shows with the Matt Hardy, hit me up, bro. You won't have your brain won't bleed like this. I'll challenge you and we can disagree on, but it's just the way Alba goes about it. He speaks so matter-of-factly when it's like, no, and Matt just snaps here. And I love this because we've seen Bischoff do the same thing multiple times, and it's not a coincidence. It's the combination of Alba's energy plus the AEW sickodom,
Harley doesn't match her in the ring. Harley doesn't.
Who cares? Harley doesn't match her in the ring. That's irrelevant.
Or maybe Alba agrees with him here, but when Hardy starts saying, like, this is what drives me nuts about AEW, like, Alba jumps off screen because he doesn't want to sell for that because he doesn't. You can tell Bischoff's done the same thing. Matt's just already frustrated with him, like, putting out there that's just irrelevant. Sorry, I can't get through one clip today, but let's go.
Harley doesn't match her in the ring. Harley doesn't.
Who cares? Harley doesn't match her in the ring. That's irrelevant. That's one of the issues with AEW that Tony pushes. Like, we're the best wrestler, and like best wrestling is. It doesn't make a difference. These people are characters, and like if you want to build this character into something else, it doesn't make a difference if she doesn't match up.
It's the best wrestling. No, people will tell you what the best wrestling is, and they're saying the best wrestling is WWE. You guys are saying the best guys, Tony Khan. But they're saying the best wrestling's WWE right now. It's the old saying, like if you're you don't need to say you're the GOAT if you're the GOAT, you know? Like seriously say you're the GOAT if you're the GOAT. People will say that for you, you know?
That's like, you're like, it drives me nuts, man. Once again, this is an entertainment property at the end of the day. It's nice. There's a lot of people that can do great things wrestling-wise. They're very athletic. But like, because she doesn't match up, if you're an over character and people are interested and it's going to help sell tickets and it's going to help move merch and it's someone that is popular, utilize them and make the most out of them.
And I think what Alba was referring to as well, because Hardy's trying to say you should have put the title on Cameron type thing. I don't know if that's what he said, but I believe that's the sentiment that Alba was like, yo, man, people thought that, no, you keep it on Monet because Harley might not match her in the ring and all this. And Hardy's sitting there like, no, dude, that doesn't matter. Pull the trigger on her now, because what Tony's going to do is do it a year too late. He did it with the Acclaimed, everybody. He just had to get this Strickland, Keith Lee in that nobody cared about, right? Oh, let's just pair them up because they both came from NXT or whatever. No one gave a shit about that. And he just pulled the trigger on the Acclaim too long from when it should have happened, if that grammatically even makes sense. I'm looking off screen here, but let's just hear Matt Hardy one more time. Let's just hear him snap one more time, uninterrupted.
AEW, that Tony pushes like we're the best wrestler and like best wrestling is. It doesn't make a difference. These people are characters, and like if you want to build this character into something else, it doesn't make a difference if she doesn't match up. That's like, you're like, it drives me nuts, man. Once again, this is an entertainment property at the end of the day. It's nice. There's a lot of people that can do great things wrestling-wise. They're very athletic. But like, because she doesn't match up, if you're an over character and people are interested and it's going to help sell tickets and it's going to help move merch and it's someone that is popular, utilize them and make the most out of them.
Shout out Extreme Life of Matt Hardy and Jon Alba and Matt Hardy. So excerpts, no, not that. Mina Shirakawa names Asuka as her biggest dream opponent via Pep Talks. I quote tweeted this and said, I hope she doesn't get buried for saying that. AEW star Hook reportedly signed with notable wrestling agent Barry Bloom for representation in upcoming contract negotiations, PWI. Apparently the joke is sort of backstage or just around is that Barry Bloom's made more money off AEW than Tony Khan. You know, it's kind of funny. Here's Enzo Amore basically burying AEW as well. Again, I'm not trying to make this a Barry Bloom, a Barry fest, right? It's just how it's been the last little while the shows have been improving. Okay, let's be honest, man. But I can't control what Enzo says or Matt Hardy says, right? Or I can't control what Tony Khan does in front of a live crowd with a microphone, right, chat? So don't blame me. Don't get mad at me.
You're not supposed to be talking. Shout out DraftKings. I'm here at Live Stadium, an empty parking lot, but it could be worse. I could be at the used car parking lot called AEW, where a star has never been born. Tell me something, girl.
Yes. You're wearing a Hitman jacket, too. Yeah, Enzo's the man. And yeah, where stars never been born. It is true. Like as far as a star, like a star. I don't know, man. MJF's forging his own road, but he's like already going the movie route, and good thing he did because some of the I don't know is not getting over like it used to. But yeah, Enzo, and that's like if Big Bill's there and he's getting on, and you know that they're boys, but I want to see Enzo and Cass. Someone posted the clip of them in WWE when they go to cut their promo. They had no mics, but they cut the promo in front of the crowd with no mics, and the whole crowd just like said it with them and popped for everything. They were honestly something special. I know people are like, they were problematic. Okay, people grow up, man. That was like a long time ago. I think people come a long way, and I don't know when Big Bill's getting out of AEW. I told you guys, though, 2026-7 is going to be crazy, and I'm telling you, man, there's going to be some crazy free agent action happening. I think we might see a lot of guys try and get into WWE, and I don't think they're going to take the majority of them, or it depends. I don't know how many people leave WWE in the interim, but either way, someone put Enzo and Cass back together on your wrestling show. They're just entertaining. Enzo, if you don't believe me, go watch him on OVW and the people who do give him shots on indies. He's really good. He's come such a long way wrestling-wise. He takes it seriously, puts in the work, and his promos are just unmatched, man. He's just got that thing about him. And the pop, if those two came back, the pop for those dudes in WWE, that'd be, it'd be good, pal. So we have more Tony Khan being extremely awkward. This was one I saw right before I came on the air. I don't watch these in full chat. You guys know that. I like to react on the show with you guys. So Heel Uzi says, why is Tony Clown Khan so awkward in public? So here we go.
Yeah, but look those of them. I like Fulham.
Why does he do the Triple H point? That's what I don't get. Why did he just jack that shtick, you know? He just stole Triple H's spot, dude.
My best friend's
and then he says, it's great. And then a fist pump.
Oh, thank you. I've been to about 8 to 10 games.
Oh, thank you. Great shirt. It's really great. Everything's really great.
When they're in the, was it Europa League? Yeah.
He looks tired and like he does not want to listen to her at all.
I went to a few of the games.
Tony, you know the have you got the one that said I was down on the back of it? Yeah, I think they do. Yeah, I think they do.
It's got to be tough. I'm sure people run up on him all the time, and it's just some lady telling him how she goes to all the games, and he's like, where the f is my Uber? I ordered an Uber Black 25 minutes ago. Get me the out of here. Oh man, like why is he even downtown like this, you know? He's like, oh, I crept off to smoke a blunt.
I heard you were shipping out so many t-shirts.
I shipped out a lot of shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, good. There's a lot. Good.
I hope it covers.
You're just gonna.
Optimistically,
It'll be brilliant.
optimistically, we would sell out of all.
You will. This is going to be.
Optimistically, we would sell out of all the shirts. Like that's part of Tony when he's, and don't forget we have a 9-minute overrun tonight. You don't want to miss. It's like the same thing, telling her business stuff. Optimistically, logistically, I mean, if we shift a few things around, we'll sell a whole handful of these shirts. Yeah, no, bro, you want to sell out of the shirts? She's like, oh yeah. Oh man. And notice how she's like, I went to all the games, and he doesn't give a, and then she's like, so the t-shirt sales, oh yeah, it's great. We're selling the most shirts. Ask Pro Wrestle Tees. Oh man, that is funny.